The hall of the Galactic Embassy shimmered with bioluminescent banners, each one celebrating unity between species. Yet the atmosphere was thick with silence, the uncomfortable kind. Hundreds of aliens sat watching from seats carved from polished meteorite. Representatives from Earth stood in a row near the front. Scientists, diplomats, soldiers, all invited for a purpose they never imagined. I stood among them. My name is Commander Elias Ward. The event was supposed to be a ceremony of alliance, a merging of two civilizations, humans and the Farinel, one of the most influential species in the Orion constellation. Tall, winged beings of shimmering blue skin and crystalline eyes. They were admired across the galaxy, until now. Because today, no one admired the one standing at the center of the stage. Princess Vila, of House Astra. She was beautiful, undeniably so, but not in the way most saw beauty. Her wings were smaller than most Farinel, one dragged slightly behind her. One of her horns, the crown-like bone rising from her forehead, was chipped. Her crystalline eyes had unequal brightness, one radiant violet, the other a dimmer lavender. These physical imperfections made her undesirable in the eyes of her own people. The Farinel believed royal strength was shown through flawless symmetry. The fact that she was born different meant she was unfit to lead, unfit to marry, unfit to be loved, and yet tradition demanded she be wed, a symbolic bond between species to secure political peace. So they brought her here, hoping one of the humans would step forward. But no one did. Vela stood alone, trembling, though she hid it behind a regal posture. Her dress, woven from star silk, glowed like nebula dust. The more she appeared perfect, the more the crowd whispered about her defects. Her father, King Astrix, slammed a crystal scepter to silence the murmurs. Is there not one? He boomed. One hero from Earth willing to unite with my daughter and forge a future of peace? Silence again. Some humans shifted uncomfortably. Soldiers stared straight ahead. Scientists cleared their throats. Diplomats pretended to check their data pads. I clenched my jaw, unwilling, afraid, judging a woman they did not know. Vela's eyes lowered. Her wings curled inward. Shame. I saw something in her I recognized. Loneliness. My own parents had died when I was young. I'd grown up fighting to prove myself in a galaxy that valued strength and perfection. Her pain was familiar. I stepped forward. The hall gasped, a wave of disbelief. I bowed my head politely. I would be honored, I said, voice steady. Vela's breath caught. Her violet eye glowed brighter, surprised. King Astrix studied me, suspicion in his ancient eyes. You understand the weight of this decision? I do. You may never see Earth again. I hesitated only a moment, then nodded. I know. And you choose my daughter. Though others would not. I looked at her, really looked. She wasn't a symbol. She wasn't an alliance token. She was someone who had been abandoned by the world that needed her most. Yes, I said, because she deserves someone who sees her worth. Something changed in the air. Ripples of shock, ripples of hope. The king raised his staff high. Then so it shall be. A roar of ceremonious instruments echoed. Our fates were bound. The journey to her world. We left Earth aboard a crystalline warship, escorted by royal guards, lined like statues. During the journey, Vela barely spoke. She only stared out the observation windows, wings dim, as though she couldn't accept this was happening by choice. On the second night, she finally spoke. You did not have to do it, she whispered, her voice soft as lunar dust. I know. You could have walked away like the others. I didn't want to. Her fingers traced the chipped horn gently. You do not find me a flawed? I find you, Vila. Her wings fluttered, the movement small but emotional. She turned to face me fully then. No more hiding. Why did humans name themselves after Earth dirt yet carry hearts made of stars? I almost laughed. We make the best things grow from imperfect soil. Her lips curved into the smallest smile, but the sadness in her eyes lingered. The royal court. When we arrived at the capital city, Spire, the reception was brutal. Buildings floated like islands, connected by silver bridges. The skies were purple, lit by drifting starlight clouds. Beautiful, but cold. Whispers followed us everywhere. The defective princess found a defective mate. Humans crawl. How can he fly with her? Better than letting her die alone, I suppose. Viola shrank into herself again, At the palace, we stood before the elders, judgmental giants with wings like jagged blades. One of them scoffed. The human is weak. His world is young. Why choose him? Before Viola could speak, I stepped forward. I didn't choose her to raise my value. I chose her because she already has value. Gasps. Disbelief. A laugh from one elder. Vela stared at me, stunned that somebody defended her. King Asterix stroked his chin. Then prove it. He signaled toward a gate that opened to reveal a cavernous arena. You will undergo the rite of binding. Survive the trial, protect her, and we shall accept your union. What if we refuse? I asked. Then the alliance dissolves, and Vela will be exiled. I met her eyes. Fear lived there. Fear not for herself, but for what might happen to her people. I'll do it, I said. Vela reached for my arm, desperate. You don't know what's inside that arena. I placed my hand over hers. I don't need to. She stared, then slowly nodded. We entered the darkness together, the trial. The gates slammed shut behind us, the arena floor cracked open, and a roar shook the air. A beast emerged, 8 limbs. Skin made of stone, eyes burning like plasma, a Dralagan, a creature bred solely for destruction. My heart thundered. I had a plasma sidearm, but the armor on this monster looked tougher than battleship plating. It lunged. I dove aside, grabbing Vela with me. She gasped, wings flaring in reflex. We have to run, she cried. We have to win. I corrected. The Dralagon's tail smashed stone pillars like fragile bones. Its screech melted metal around us. Vela's hand rose. A weak flicker of biokinetic energy sputtered from her palm. She looked horrified at her own inability. They always said I was too weak. They were right. No, I said. You're not weak. You're just alone. The beast coiled to strike again. I made a decision. A reckless human decision. Viola, do you trust me? Her eyes widened. Then she nodded. Always. Good. Aim for its eyes, both of them. Concentrate everything you have. She closed her eyes, trembling. Her wings pulsed faintly. The Dralagon charged. I sprinted toward it head-on. Maybe this is how I die, I thought. Just before impact, I slid beneath its throat, firing upward into the softer plates. Sparks flew, but the beast shrieked in pain. I yelled, "Now, Vela!" She screamed, not in fear, but in release. 2 brilliant beams of violet energy erupted from her hands. They slammed into the beast's eyes. The Dralagon staggered, blinded, thrashing wildly. I climbed its back, found the pulsing spot near the crown of its skull, the controller node, and drove my blade deep. The monster collapsed. Silence descended, then a roar from the audience above, watching. But this roar was different. Respect, shock, awe. Vela stared at her hands, glowing with new confidence. I did that, she whispered. We did that, I corrected. She hugged me, wings wrapping around me like starlight feathers. The crowned pair, we emerged victorious into the court. The elders no longer laughed. All eyes were wide, some even shining with admiration. King Asterix approached, placing a heavy hand on my shoulder. You have shown courage beyond measure, and you have shown my daughter who she truly is. Vela stepped forward, head held high. I am not flawless, she declared, her voice ringing like crystal. But I am worthy, and I choose this human, not because he saved me, but because he saw me. The hall echoed with silence. Then slowly, applause. Wings beat the air, not in mockery, but in celebration. The king raised his scepter. Let it be known, the alliance is sealed. Princess Viola Astra and Commander Elias Ward are bound in unity and honor. Viola turned to me, eyes bright on both sides now. Thank you, she whispered, for stepping forward. When no one else would, I offered my hand. From now on, you'll never stand alone again, she smiled, a radiant, unashamed smile, and took it, ending the human and the princess. Days later, from the balcony of the palace, we watched fleets of ships soar like birds across the purple sky. A new chapter for both our worlds. Vela leaned gently against me. They will tell stories of this day, she said, of the moment peace was won not by power, but by a human who simply refused to let someone feel unworthy. I squeezed her hand, and they'll tell the story of a princess who proved them all wrong. Our future was uncertain, Our cultures were different. Our journey had only begun, but for the first time, Viola stood proud, and I stood with her. Together we looked toward the stars, as equals, as partners, as the unexpected, unstoppable union of heart and humanity. A year had passed since the trial of binding. Earth and the Farinel Empire were closer than ever. Trade routes opened, military alliances strengthened, and research projects flourished. Humans were finally recognized as equals among the stars, and I, Commander Elias Ward. I was no longer simply a soldier. I was the royal consort, husband to Princess Viola Astra. But peace is never permanent. Not in a galaxy full of fear, envy, and ambition, the shadows of jealousy within the capital. Aeon Spire, rumors spread like wildfire. The human contaminates royal blood. The princess's weakness grows worse. Humans will take the throne, and the worst of them. Viola carries a secret. I noticed the change in her behavior first. She tired more easily. Wings drooping, she hid her pain behind polite smiles. One night I found her in our chamber, clutching her chest as if trying to hold herself together. "Viola," I whispered, hurrying to her side. "Tell me what's wrong." Her breath trembled. I didn't want you to worry. You don't have to face anything alone anymore." She hesitated, then placed my hand gently on her stomach. A faint pulse, like starlight. I froze. Breath stolen. "You're pregnant," I whispered. Tears filled her eyes, joy and fear mixing. "My people see me as flawed. What will they say of a child born from one of us and a human? They won't see the hope I feel, only threat." I pulled her into my arms. "Our child will be a bridge, proof of unity, proof of love." She smiled, fragile but real. But even as we embraced, shadows waited, watching, plotting. The coup begins. 3 months later. During a diplomatic gathering, Vela and I stood before nobles and council members. She looked radiant, wings adorned in silver feathers shaped by my own hands. I stood proudly beside her. King Asterix raised a chalice. To the future, a sound cut him off. Sharp, metallic. Clang palace doors slammed open. Elite guards rushed in. But these were not loyalists. At their front was Elder Madron, a towering Farinel with wings like iron scythes. "This farce ends tonight," he boomed. "The princess's blood is tainted, and now she carries a hybrid abomination." Gasps. Panic. 100 gazes turned to Viola's stomach. Madron thrust a crystal spear forward. "We reclaim the purity of our kingdom. Remove the human. Remove the offspring." The king stepped forward, fury shaking the hall. "You dare threaten my daughter?" "Yes," Madron sneered. "Because you are too blinded by affection to act." The guards raised their weapons. Vela's hand found mine, trembling. I stepped in front of her, muscles tense. "You want a war?" I growled. "Start with me." The traitors charged. Battle for the air. The hall erupted into chaos. I grabbed a fallen guard's shield and blocked a spear thrust inches from Vela's face. Another attacker lunged. I countered, smashing him to the ground. Vela tried to summon her energy, but a sudden surge of pain hit her abdomen. She collapsed, crying out, "Vela!" I shouted, rage tearing through me. I couldn't fight and protect her at the same time. King Asterix, seeing her fall, unleashed a shockwave of telekinetic force, sending rebels crashing through stone columns. "Get her out," he commanded. "To the celestial sanctuary." I lifted her into my arms. One of her wings hung limp. Tears streamed down her face. "Don't let them take our baby," she choked out. "I'll die before I let that happen." We reached a side corridor, but Medron himself blocked our path. He smirked. "A human cannot protect a princess from destiny." I set Viola down gently, placing myself between them. "You're right," I said. Madron raised an eyebrow. I activated her power, the bond we formed during the trial, and a surge of violet light coursed through me. Spread my stance, wings of pure energy unfurling behind me. But a human can become more than destiny. Madron roared and attacked. Spear met glowing energy as I blocked. Sparks exploding like falling stars. His strength was monstrous, but I fought with something stronger. A reason. Every time he struck at me, he struck at my family. I seized his spear, twisted, and slammed my forehead into his. Bones cracked. He staggered. I drove my fist into his chest, energy bursting like a supernova. He collapsed. Disarmed, breathing hard, I stood over him. This kingdom doesn't belong to you anymore. He snarled up at me. You think your child will be accepted? They will hunt it forever. I grabbed his armor and lifted him. Then I'll teach them what a human father can do. I struck him unconscious. I returned to Vela, who watched with awe and tears. You flew, she whispered. I looked back, the wings of energy slowly dissolving. I guess I did, I said, smiling shakily. Borrowed them from someone I love. The new dawn, the rebellion collapsed swiftly. The loyalists reclaimed the palace. Madron and the traitors were imprisoned. Peace returned. But the court remained uneasy about the unborn heir, until the day our child arrived. The delivery was dangerous. Viola fought bravely, wings trembling, and then a cry, a tiny being, with soft blue skin, faint human features, and small wings glowing with dual light, one violet, one lavender. The court gasped, expecting horror. Instead, they saw beauty. King Asterix proclaimed, "Behold, Prince Arian Astraward, the bridge between worlds." For the first time, Viola smiled without pain or doubt. She held our child close. "He has your courage," she whispered. "And your heart," I replied. We stepped onto the palace balcony, where both humans and Farinell waited below. When they saw the child's glowing wings, the crowd erupted, not in fear, but in hope. Vela lifted Arian proudly. I wrapped an arm around her. "Our future begins today," she declared. "A future where imperfection is strength, where every soul has worth." The people cheered. "Long live the princess. Long live the human consort. Long live the new heir." Viola turned to me, tears glistening like stars. "You stepped forward for me when no one else did," she said. "Now, together, we step forward for an entire galaxy." I kissed her forehead. "As long as I breathe, you'll never stand alone." We looked out across two united worlds, our sun held between us, and the stars, witnessing it all, shone brighter than ever.